So this is the start of my new painting. It's gonna have a fox, and I like a little story. I like stories with my painting. So you guys remember the monsters and where the wild things are? I got a fox and I got a monster. Simple background. I'm gonna have a tree in the background. The landscape will be very simple. The hardest part is coming up with a little story. So I drew it out first. I usually use a spray bottle and loosen up my watercolor paints that I have. I use American Journey paints. And the background will be pretty simple. I take some of that Joe's Blue, maybe a little bit of Payne's Gray, and we'll keep it simple. These paints are a little bit strong, so if you get a hard edge on it, keep adding water to it. Instead of just a typical blue sky, I throw some yellow orange in there. I paint with a big brush, very loose. It leaves a little bit of imagination for the viewer. If it goes over the edge, just take a little tissue to it. Now I don't want the background to draw away from the foreground, so I just keep it simple. Maybe it's a winter day. I know Bob Ross used to talk through his paintings, and people were like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I'll keep it simple. Maybe you can copy me. See what you got. So that's the background. I might add a mountain when that layer dries. Do a little detail around the trees. This will just be a brown tree. Simple. 3 colors, a little water. That'll dry maybe 5 minutes. When you use your watercolors, you probably lose 30-40% of your color once it dries. So don't add any more water. Don't add any more paint. Let it sit. It's not always going to come out the same way. What I'll do is later I'll do the mountain that comes into it. Actually, I might just blend it in now. Add a little water. Because I want those colors going to be into the mountain too. So careful not to paint over your monster. I use very light paint. You can see, I don't know if you can even see it on there, but it's very light. I don't want all the attention taken away. So I'm going to keep it very light. Go around your monster. I'm going to add I drew a little pencil mark where I'm going to add the mountain. So that's level 1. People always ask me if I do the foreground or the background first, and this is kind of how I do it. Start off with the background. If you use cheap paint, you get a cheap painting. So spend the extra money, get some good paint, get some good brushes, get some good paper. I'll do part 2 in a little bit.